Hello, it's Deborah from the attic. Today I want to show you some new papers, or I should say enlarged papers, but there are some variations between these large new written word pages to make a 5x7 journal and the originals, which were really tiny, in order to make this small miniature journal with 4 signatures. So this is the journal that I made some time ago and put the kit on my Etsy store. All links will be below the video. And this was so popular that I had a lot of requests from people saying, could you make this in a full-size journal, 5x7 journal? So I had a look at some of the designs. I've retweaked some of them. I've intensified the coverage of the ink and the colours because I'm using thicker paper to print out on for this larger journal, and therefore I won't have any ghosting. Thank you to the subscriber who gave me that word. I won't have ghosting where these images appear on the reverse side of thinner paper. In this journal I used a thin paper which from memory I think was about 110 GSM, and because I knew I would be printing this on thinner paper in order to get nice neat creases in this journal, I made the images deliberately nice and faint so that they would not ghost through to the reverse side of the page, as you can see here. So here's a nice image, but it doesn't come through here. So these were deliberately very soft pastel colours. And if you want to know more about the weight of papers that I use, I'll provide a link to a video up there. I will also provide a link to the video where I show you this journal and how I made this journal. Also take a look up there and you'll find the link. Let me show you these pages. As with the previous journal, there are 18 background sheets, and I'm just going to quickly flip through these so you can have a look. And these have been printed double-sided. I've printed these on 160 GSM paper, and as you can see, there's no ghosting onto the reverse side. Printing them double-sided like this means that your journal will come together extremely quickly. I've changed some of the images, I've added more lines, I've added more background into some of these sheets, so you'll see slight differences if you already have the miniature journal. You will see, so there's a little bit more brighter colour, some more splashes of colour all over the sheets as well, but they are still in the same soft pastel colours, and they are still nice and bright with plenty of room for you to journal onto. I've also enlarged the lozenges and included the all-important template. This is what you need if you want to just be able to make your kit really easily without having to worry about where you have to put the holes to sew in all of your signatures. The other thing that I've done with this is I've enlarged the envelope. In the miniature kit, I made these tiny little envelopes that you could include tucked into little spots like this. But they were too small to send through the post, so you would have had to have put that into a larger envelope. So I thought, well, why not make a large envelope? So this is it. And this you could send through the post. It makes up really easily. It's got a nice little, I've got it upside down, it's got a nice little image in the corner. There's room for a stamp on the top. So this could go through the post. I've also enlarged the little phrases and sayings cards so that these will fit in the large envelope. So you can turn these into cards and you can send them through the mail. Or alternatively, of course, you can tuck it into your journal. But I've also kept a smaller envelope so you can tuck it into a little space in your journal, and I've also made sure that these will fit inside the envelope too. And then there are these circles which act almost like wax seals on the reverse of your cards. They're not wax obviously, but you just cut them out and glue them onto the reverse of your envelopes as a seal mechanism. We have 2 more of the large phrases cards here, some little tickets, and a really nice band that's just full of books. So it's all kept true to the theme of writing and journaling and books. I want to show you another way to make a journal cover. If you want to see all different ways to make covers out of fabric, out of paper bags, then please check my previous videos. They'll all be in the playlist under journals and journaling, so go and have a look at those. There's many. But this is material called Decovil, and I'll provide the spelling for that. This is a heavyweight Decovil. What Decovil is is something that is used to strengthen bags or hats, and it's like a really thick stabilizer. I don't know if Decovil is the name that's used absolutely everywhere, but what I'll do is I'll provide a link below this video that will tell you about this material, so that if it does have a different name in other countries, at least you've got an idea of what you're looking for. It's buff on one side, and this has got a nice sort of almost like a leathery finish, and you can move it about like this, but you won't tear it, you won't rip it, but you can cut it and you can sew through it. You can also paint it. But what's brilliant about it is that it has this side, which you can see is a wee bit shiny. That's adhesive. That is an adhesive layer, and we're going to use that adhesive layer to give us our cover. I've got one of my sheets from the kit, which I've cut so that it is the Decovil is just smaller, because what I'm going to do is make this adhere to the Decovil. The Decovil will give it structure, and that will create our cover. But there's more that we can do, so I'm going to show you how you can use a lamination pouch. I use matte laminated pouches to create a protective cover over this as well. This is one of my laminating pouches. And what I'm going to do is get my scissors, trim off the edge where it joins, like this, and I'm going to keep one, and I'm going to save the other one to make another project. I'm going to put that straight back in my box with my other pouches. This is the side that will do the adhesion, and we're going to just layer that over the top like that. So I'm creating layers. I've got my Decovil Heavy. There is also Decovil Light, that will give you a more sort of flexible cover, but I'm using the Heavy because it's better for what I want to do. So I've got my Decovil Heavy with the shiny side up, that's the sticky side. I've got my cover, and this is the bit that's going to be visible, so this is a bit that's going to stick to the Decovil, and then on top of that I've got my laminating pouch with the bit that would do the sticky on the top of my journal cover. Next I've got this padded thing that I use for ironing quilting blocks when I'm quilting things and doing sewing, and that is going to protect my worktop, because the next thing I'm going to do is heat up my iron. This is my iron. I'm going to make sure there's no steam function on there and that it doesn't have water, so I want a dry iron, because I'm going to use the heat from the iron to seal all of my layers. I'm going to make sure that there's no little bitties in there under my laminating sheet. I'm going to heat this to a sort of a medium hot heat. Mine goes 123 max, so I'm going to set it on 3. I'm going to let that heat up, and to protect my iron I'm going to take a couple of pieces of disposable waste sheets and put them over the top so that there's no risk to my iron. This is I use this purely for crafting and actually for quilting as well, but it was a really cheap, it was sort of the cheapest iron that I could get. And when my iron is hot enough, I'm going to apply it to my journal. And this heat should be enough to penetrate all of those layers so that the Decovil will stick to the cover and the laminating sheet will stick to the cover as well. Make sure you go all the way to the edges. I'm going to have a little look at this and make sure everything has adhered. So the Decovil has stuck, the laminating sheet has stuck, that's looking really good. I don't cut this down until it's all sealed, because I found that that actually gives you a better edge. I'm going to cut this down just using my scissors, and then I'll show you what the end result looks like. That's our cover. That's it. That's all you need to do. Once you've bought your Decovil, and you can buy it by the metre, although I buy it on a roll because I love this. I make lots of journals with it. You can make loads like this. And if you don't have a matte laminating pouch, you can always use the shiny laminated patches. But give it a go. It's a really quick, nice and easy way to make a cover that uses any favourite papers that you might have. I've used this kit obviously so I can show you, but if you have any really gorgeous papers that are just too good to be just pages within a journal and you want to show them off a little bit more, this is a really nice way to do it. And it's nice and flexible, but it's rigid enough to form the cover. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out the rest of my sheets and I'm going to show you how my journal looks when it's finished. And obviously I'm going to use the most important page, if I can find it again, which is the template. So I'll be using this in order to create my journal. This is my completed journal with its nice robust cover. If I splash any water on this, I'll just be able to wipe it free. I've chosen one of the lozenges from the kit and I've cut it out so that it looks almost like a nameplate on the front of my book. I think I'm going to secure this just with a clip like this. Of course you could use a piece of ribbon, such as ribbon that I used to seal this, and more on this in a moment. I've got something else that will match this. But I quite like that, and when I take that away I want to show you that I've distressed all of these pages. Before I sewed them into place I took some scissors and I went down each edge of each page with my scissors and I really violently hacked away at the edges, and it's given me these fantastic distressed finishes on each of my pages, and I really like that. And I also like that they sort of pop out the top of the book. So this book is very precise. I've cut down the pages to make sure that everything is in line, and I like that look as well. But this is just quite fun, and on a bigger journal it looks great. So let me just do a little quick flip through, because on the inside I've covered over my Decovil with a cut down from one of the other sheets in the kit, and I've added a few of the elements. I've added in these rather nice little quotes pages, and you can see there's plenty of space for you to write. I've added that band in this page, and this is the larger envelope. This is the one that you can send through the post, and you can turn these into little cards. I've added 2 of the quote cards in here, and of course you can just add them into the envelope loose or as part of a card, and we'll just tuck that in there and it keeps it safe. I've used the tickets to create a tuck spot. I've just glued them at the bottom there. They actually go over the page, and there's another little tuck spot for a smaller card. There's another of my nice sayings pages, more space for writing, and this little envelope, this is a mini envelope, and I've added 2 of the smaller little cards in here, and I've used that sort of faux paper seal on the back. I've just glued this into position in the back, and I've used 2 of the other circles that I've popped out to hold that down. There's another of the phrases there. And again I've used the tickets as tuck spots. Finally I've completed it with another cutout from one of the other sheets in the kit, and I've glued that onto my Decovil, and that's a really robust journal. The reason I wanted to revisit this journal, which is a journal I made a few weeks ago using my Vintage Cornflower kit in my Etsy store, the link to that will be below, is because I've made an edition for this, and if you want to see how I made this journal, I'll provide a link up there. And the extra that I have made is a layered tag set. These have been extremely popular, and I loved these colours so much that I really wanted to make something special to add to this as well. So the layered tags, this is the largest of the tags. You can use this way up or this way up, and it's been designed that way deliberately. So if you wanted to make a cover for a book, or if you wanted to glue this onto some cardboard and make a hardback cover, then you can just print this out twice, cut it down, glue it onto a piece of card, and that will make you a really nice little book. And of course you could use it that way up as well. And the rest of the tags are layered up beautifully, and I've distressed them in the same way that I did for my writing journal edges as well. There are some tickets. I've used this one here, and it came from this set of 4. And there are also some words and some backgrounds. So there were 5 words. I've used one of them to add to this. And there are 5 backgrounds. These are the other 4 backgrounds that I could have glued that word onto. As you go through, you can see that this would make a really nice little secret journaling spot. And you can journal, you can write on the reverse of these. Maybe you could put some photographs on the front or some images of your choice on the front of those. In addition to this top piece, this really thin little final tag, there are 2 other alternatives that you could put in there instead if you wanted to. And there are some little circles as well. I've secured everything at the top with a ribbon. And I'm going to store that in my book on the front. It looks really pretty with that layered tag on the top. Those are the 2 things that I wanted to show you today. So for now I'm going to say thank you very much for your time, thank you for watching, and until we meet again, stay safe and take care.